At the back of the room where it's accessible to the public. Simpson.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Marvin.
Here.
Mankey.
Here.
Alden.
Here. Thank you. You can all stand now, please. A moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Item 1 is a consent agenda. Approve this agenda. Pay the claims as submitted. Approve an application for special designated liquor license from McFarland Family Farm, Phelps County Fairgrounds on Monday, July 23rd for the Phelps County Fair.
Motion to approve.
Doug Simpson. Second. Second by Clerk Gibbons.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Mankey.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 2, approve the minutes of June 19th, 2018 regular council meeting. Any corrections? None. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Jeff, thank you.
Second.
Mary McDermott.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Marvin. And Mankey.
Yes.
Thank you. It is now time for the public forum. If anybody has something to bring before the council that is not on the agenda, now is the time, place for it. Please be respectful. If not, I'll close the public forum. Item 4, consider request from Phelps County Ag Society for assistance for the Phelps County Fair. Welcome back.
Yeah. Seems like it's here maybe a year ago.
That's good.
We'd like to have your help again to put up snow fence around for the Derby and for the bull riding. So we will get the snow fence from the county, so we just need the manpower.
Like you said last year.
Yeah.
Pretty much routine. Any problems, Kim?
No, none whatsoever.
I have requested Kim to come, but he never shows up, so.
Ride the bull?
And it clowns it.
This is not about me.
Dane, did you get their certificate of insurance?
Yeah.
I moved to it.
Larry Marvin makes the motion.
Second.
Larry Gibbons seconds.
Mankey.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your help.
Hope to see Kim there.
Thanks, Clark.
Item 5, consider an application for public fireworks display.
I'm Andrew Daly. This is my fiance Cameron Smith. We are getting married August 11th, and we were wondering if we would be able to have a short pop-in fireworks show after about 9:30 at the exit.
Questions from the council?
What's the date?
August 11th.
Did we have this come before council one other time with a wedding or something, it seems like? I'm trying to remember what we did back then. Just kind of the back of my memory somewhere.
These are, I asked Andrew, these are not
Who's putting it on?
Ryan Cole.
Ryan Crowley's license. These are not anything close to what going
Yeah.
on out here. They're
They're
smaller. You don't have to have a state permit. It's kind of like what's for sale around here.
Yeah, that's it.
So, and I think, did you talk to Dan?
Yeah, I talked to Dean last night. He said
And he
it
was-
would be a problem. Just be careful with wind if
So it's okay for
we
him.
go through.
Does he need a special permit or anything since it's outside hours, or we can just say okay?
Well,
We can just
we
tell
have
him,
to
okay.
okay it, we have to understand. He does them several times, I think, Kim. You know anything?
Pardon me?
Any special permits or anything?
No, I mean, I do believe the council likes to know that the individual doing it is licensed, so I think that helps.
And Ryan's got plenty of experience, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Andrew, where do you live?
1019.
Jeff?
I make a motion, we approve that.
I'd second it.
Doug Simpson seconds. Holly?
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon. Marvin.
Yes.
Nagy.
Yes. Good luck.
Hope you have nice weather.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Item 6, consider changing the Holdridge Housing Authority from a 5-member to a 7-member board. Right now, our city code says it is 5-member.
5-member. There's a state statute that just came in this year, effective July 19th, that it can be 5 or 7,
Either one.
Requesting
but no more.
from the council and mayor, I do respect to, approve it to the 7-member for 2 reasons. We're growing and it's easier for me to obtain a quorum. It's really hard with the number of 5 with their professional settings. But there are other jobs to try to build a quorum into a board meeting setting with just 5. The 7 I can't. I already have somebody on the side. I'm getting ready to have 2 people off the board. So the one that's on the side that's of the approval of the council and the mayor, will be our 7.
But you'll still have to have over half of them show up,
I know.
whether it's 5, 7,
Right.
19.
But the odds of trying to get a quorum with just 5 is here to nothing. I'm having to do email updates and it's just more effort on my part for recording purposes in order to get it recorded as a board setting when I have to email updates constantly because I have to bring all those emails into a recording setting. Excuse me, once we receive a quorum. I mean, I'm doing that now, apparently, but what I'm saying is the chances of me having a quorum with the number of 7 board members would be much more acceptable and conducive to what I'm trying to do for the whole town.
And this will have to be changed by ordinance. Bob?
It has to be an ordinance if we can't do anything tonight.
So all we do basically is say to move forward with the ordinance.
Yeah.
Have to address this next council meeting.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Capri. Item 7, receive an economic development update from PCDC. Is Ron the one who was jumping from the plane out the ball field, bringing the American flag down tonight?
You're not, Tim?
I was here earlier.
That's all right, we're making good time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Ordinance.
You're off the road.
Say he was not there.
Right there?
No.
If he shows up, maybe we do it later.
Okay, we'll table that for now. We'll move on to item 8, consider sound reinforcement system for the council chambers. Dane?
At the last council meeting, Mary, I think, asked that I get something together, and the council And originally I said I wouldn't buy anything until I ran it by you. So you have that in your packet. I omitted Dave Cable Snake, which is another $85, and a 50-foot 8-inch cable, which is another $8. So you're looking at about $1,500. I think it would be, it's just right for this room. It's not excess. The equipment is all pretty highly rated, and name brand in the industry. Behringer's probably the least.
Who would do the installation?
I'll do it.
You'll do it. Say it's somebody there.
There's two right there, two above the.
I actually am quoting 4 speakers, with 4 microphones. So there'll be 2 microphones back there above the audience, and one in the front of the table and one in the back of the table. Probably 2 speakers up here, but I'll have to figure out how we're gonna work that without feedback, and 2 speakers back there over the audience.
Will all 4 speakers be live
Yes.
at the same time?
Yeah, the system is built just for that.
Yeah, the mics are just live all the time, pretty
They will
much.
be live all the time.
This is something we've talked about for a long time. When I get the mumbling here, nobody can hear me. But we want people to come, we want people to hear. It's a good thing to have people coming.
You'll notice there's also an extra battery for the camera, which is the only way you can hook sound directly to the camera. And then there's another little mix board about that big, and it's the only, you need to have that to get a USB signal to the camera's battery. So there's a couple extra pieces, but it takes sound directly to the camera, rather than having the camera mic pick up speaker sound.
Sounds good, Randy?
These just hang down from the ceiling then?
Yes.
So if we've talked about remodeling the council chambers. I'd still like to see that done.
And you can just move them
We
around.
do move them around then and still make it all work.
Yep.
Okay.
We're talking about putting us facing everybody.
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
We'll get that done by the next council meeting.
I'll bring some pictures, a couple of drawings at the next meeting.
Nice to see you.
Then I'm home.
Mary?
So we're looking about $1,500 for the equipment. Dane's gonna install it. Dane, I think, stop me if I'm wrong, but I think you told me you also checked with Yondas.
We did, and
And
we
what
had
did Yondas say
we had
that
a
it was gonna
quote of
be?
$23,000.
$23,000 from Yondas, okay. Thank you for doing
But there was
this.
different equipment.
Well, sure.
Keep that gold plated.
But if this will work and plug into the existing camera equipment that we have, thank you for doing your due diligence on this. I think this is the way to go.
I think that's moving the council forward. So, motion to approve that, move on, move forward.
So moved.
Mary McDermott, move. Second. Larry Gibbons.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Motion carried. And I see Ron Tillery just got here from, landed from the airplane. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
witness the
I'm
flag
sorry
coming
I'm
down?
late, and I'm dressed for the fireworks tonight, so I got some
Did we say drop it
things
on us?
to
Yeah, glad you dropped in on us.
They did hit the target. Good evening, council. I'm Ron Tillery with Phelps County Development Corporation. I wanted to give you a mid-year update on some of the things that are going on, and also just a recap of the past 12 months. I'll just review the handout that I've given you a little bit, and then you can certainly ask questions if you have them. But I want to let you know that we formed an event center committee to study what the options are based on the feasibility study that we received earlier this month. in summary, the feasibility study found that the market will support a modern convention center, provided that it's sized appropriately with the right kind of services, and that it doesn't carry any debt. It will need to be some sort of ownership structure that is able to pay for the entire facility, along with some sort of endowment or reserve fund to handle maintenance and other things like that. We formed a committee. Shane Westcott is chairing that committee, and we'll have the first meeting of the full group, which numbers 12 people, sometime later this month. And we'll look at the study. We'll review options that we know of, solicit additional input for other options that we might not be aware of. And then we'll probably come back to the council and make a report to you as well on what this committee thinks is the best way forward on that. Also wanted to report, as many people have already heard, that Scooter's Coffee is going to build a facility in town. That project came about because the founder of that company, who lives in Omaha, has family in McCook. They drive through Holdridge on a regular basis, and increasingly he asked himself, why don't we have a store there? And in particular, he was interested in the lot that is across the street from the funeral home, and thought that was that location fit their ideal location criteria, and so they came to an agreement with Ryan, the owner of that lot. It'll be a long-term lease, but they'll start construction here very shortly. I think Kim has been working with the people on the pre-development work associated with that. We're also reviewing the downtown revitalization plan that was done back in 2013. That plan guided a lot of the infrastructure development downtown that the city engaged in, the new sidewalks, planters, those kinds of things, the crosswalks. But there was a lot left undone. And when I reviewed that earlier this year, I thought we should go back and recap all those things we can check off the list, but also take another look at those things that we didn't accomplish, review it and see if those are things that we still want to do, or that are where our market may have changed and those things are no longer something that makes sense. We'll have a proposal from the company, RDG, that did that original proposal sometime in the near future. I've reached out to SCED. They were one of the original partners in that. I believe they secured some grant funding to help pay for that. We'll partner with them and take a look at updating that, and then prioritizing those things that we think will have impact in the community. Also wanted to report that we've been working excuse me, on a lot of retail related projects in town, because we think retail, the health and vitality of our community is tied to retail. We need to generate more activity in that area, which is why we contracted with the Buxton Company to provide the analytics necessary to make good investment decisions. And on a nationwide basis, we were pleased to see reports recently where retail and brick and mortar stores is starting to rebound. Now there was, last month, I think in June, there was some softness, but May to May this year to last year, there was a 4.2% increase nationwide. And that's really positive, really good news, because brick and mortar has taken a beating over the past few years because of online sales and other things. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to really prioritize that here in our community. And we think that we can make a difference. That is also buoyed, I think, a bit by the Supreme Court decision recently that says that states are authorized to start collecting online sales tax. Our challenge is we want to make sure rural communities like Holdridge get their fair share of those sales tax proceeds when they come back into the state. And I think that's one of the things that the legislature will grapple with. Governor Ricketts didn't think that additional authorizing legislation was necessary, but I think they'll look at that and we'll probably know more by the end of the summer. Also recently, PCDC hosted a 10-person tour of downtown Hastings. The reason we took a group to Hastings was because they've had success in their community in conducting downtown revitalization efforts. In particular, they've been successful in generating upper-level living in Hastings, and at present, they've got about 67 living units downtown. They have plans now to add another 30 within the next 12 months. One of the things that downtown living does is it buoys the retail community, generates more activity downtown, pulls more people in to downtown that aren't residents because of the new activity that's occurring. So the folks that joined us there came away really more confident that we can achieve similar results on a smaller scale here in Holdridge. So hopefully over the next 12 months or so, we'll start to see projects emerge that mimic or mirror what they've been doing in Hastings. You should have received this weekend or early this week the quarterly PCDC newsletter, the PCBJ, the Business Journal. We get really positive results and feedback on that. Folks that didn't necessarily hear about or see evidence of our economic development work in the county now have a chance to see it in writing, something tangible that they can hold, and we get very good feedback from around the county from people that enjoy reading that. It's a quality publication, but it also attracts, because we send it outside the county as well to a number of key people, it attracts attention. And we've had calls from Colorado, Arizona, most recently from Iowa. The Iowa Public Broadcasting Service contacted us, interested in a story that we had published last quarter about housing and our initiatives here. And Iowa struggles with the same issues that we do as it relates to workforce housing. And so they came from Des Moines to Holdridge last week, spent 2 days working on a story that's going to air initially on the Iowa Public Television Network, but also in several other states that they're affiliated with and share those kinds of documentary videos with. So we're attracting attention, that's good, because eventually what that leads to is what we refer to as economic gravity. Where our community, in a more organic fashion, attracts investment and interest from people outside the market. And once we start that snowball effect, as Warren Buffett refers to it, then we have a chance to really make a difference and see our community grow and prosper. The second page is essentially a recap of some of the things that have occurred over the last 12 months. We've had 11 families relocate to Phelps County as a result of our down payment assistance program. They've invested in homes that are valued at $1,750,000. More importantly, those 11 families brought children and spouses with them. So that grows our workforce, grows the number of kids in our school system. They start spending their paychecks here instead of taking their paychecks someplace else. So that's a really good result. I'm really pleased with that program in particular. We've had 11 first impression grants downtown. We've had 13 that we approved, 11 that have completed and qualified successfully to receive their funds. We've granted about $11,000 to those 11 projects, but they've invested $62,000 in their buildings. So that's a really good return on our investment. In the Go Home Phoenix project, we do have three home renovations in progress in Holdridge right now. One home exterior improvement grant in Holdridge. And then the Go Home Contractor Sales Tax Holiday Program has constructed or helped to construct one new home in Holdridge, 3 new homes in Loomis, and that's a pretty big deal in Loomis. Then our Go Business Gap Financing Program, we funded one business loan over the past 12 months for $110,000. We sold property to a developer and provided gap financing for the 18-unit Washington Square apartments. Those are now open and ready for occupancy. We worked with Cobblestone Hotel. We will close on the sale of that property to the investor group on Thursday, and they will spin off that lot number 2 to the Hotel Development Group, Holdridge Hotel Group LLC, and then the third lot will be deeded separately, and that will be for a future project that's not yet determined. We've worked with the Housing Development Corporation to apply for and win a grant to create workforce housing, and that project is in development. I'm sure you'll hear more about that. And then finally, BD Medical, since 2010, has invested $300 million in our community in that plant out there. That's a pretty big deal. That's an expression of confidence in our market that isn't just important to BD. It helps us have conversations with other companies that might be looking at our area too and say, your investment is a good investment too because of what BD sees in our market. We've got another plant expansion that we can't really talk about too much publicly right now, but there's another plant expansion in the works, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Hastings, what do they do to help develop the loft apartments?
They have a pretty aggressive approach, and we'll be evaluating our plans too to see if we can do more to stimulate that kind of activity. But downtown, they have a business improvement district that allows them to levy and also collect funds to create a loan fund, a low-interest loan fund, specifically for downtown. They also have a community redevelopment authority that's very aggressive, and they actually are co-managed by the same person, the same group, so that they can coordinate the resources that go into projects. And they actively advertise and request development proposals from building owners or people that want to buy buildings and redevelop them. We toured one building that I think had at one point or another been the Montgomery Ward store in downtown Hastings. It's a beautiful storefront building, about 10,000 square feet on the main level, and then a second level that had been vacant or used for storage. And they've converted that upper level into 6 condos that all sell for between $205,000 and $215,000 a piece. They have both tax increment financing and business improvement district money in that. But since the bones of the building are already there, their overall finish costs for those apartments are quite a bit less than they would be if you were starting from scratch. I think their finish cost per square foot was around $95, $99 a square foot. So, there is a pretty eclectic mix of people that like downtown living. They have 20-something singles. They have a few families. And in fact, the director of the Nebraska Economic Development in Lincoln raised his family downtown. They converted an upper level building into a 2,700 square foot residence, 3-bedroom, 3-bath residence. And they raise kids. They've also got empty nesters. So it's a real diverse mix of people. And as a result, coffee shops have sprung up downtown, bistros, boutiques, all kinds of businesses that rely on the downtown population.
And you're still actively working with Buxton?
Yes, we are.
We're still.
We have some activity. Too soon to talk about, but we have some activity. We're trying to generate more.
Comment from the council? Mary?
Do you happen to have any recent unemployment numbers for the county?
2.2%. We have, at the latest report, 110 people not working in the county that are reported. But if you go to the Nebraska Works website, which is the Department of Labor's website, not every employer uses their service. Sometimes there's as many as 250 job postings for Phelps County on that website. I think the last time I looked, there was about 160, 165. So we have far more positions open than we have people to fill them, which is another reason why we have such a strong incidence of commuters into the market. We want to capture those commuters.
Other things going on, Ron? You and your board? Keep it up. Keep the ball rolling.
Thank you.
Keep that snowball going. Thank you. Item 9. Consider replacing the swimming pool heater.
It was not running, and we had Rasmussen's come down and take a look at it. Rasmussen's have looked at all our boilers. They've looked at the one at the auditorium, they've looked at the one at the library. So we use them quite a bit, but at the time, he could not get it running. And maybe Doug can help me out on this. I don't know much about boilers, but I think where the gas comes out of the, to heat the water, I think there was some damage with the.
Probably through the heat exchanger.
Yes. And so, he does not think that the boiler inspector will approve it. The boiler inspector comes on July 9th, next week. In retrospective, Tim took it all apart, he cleaned it, and at this point in time, it is running. But they highly recommend that maybe we look at maybe getting a new one. It is 3 to 4 weeks out. I guess if the council decides they would like to have a new one, I would just suggest maybe we contact Rasmussen's in January, February, and then we start for next year. Haven't had any complaints pertaining to the pool water at this point in time. Did the first couple of days that it wasn't running, but the last few days I haven't had any complaints, so.
You said it is running now anyway.
It is running
Moving
now.
along anyway.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Kim, how old is that system that's down there?
I was thinking this one was put in 95 or 97.
I barely remember us doing something with the boiler and in quite a while.
We've been having some trouble with it every once in a while, so we do that.
The chemicals in the pool don't help the boiler.
Can we get it done next spring time or?
I think so, and I talked with this individual that gave me the quote on this, and I said, it being, at the time, the heater wasn't running, but it being, you know, a 3 to 4 week period, just today, Jessica talked to Aaron, and they're looking at maybe being able to stay open till August 10th this year. I do know school starts the 14th, and I do know there's football and cross country, tennis, golf, so it might be, we might have to go half pool, but we may have enough to stay open that late. So in lieu of that, I really didn't want to have the brand new heater open for about 4 days. I just soon wait and do it in the spring, so.
That's what we can put it in next year's budget too.
Yes.
And I apologize if I missed it, did you say a number yet?
The quote that we got from Rasmussen's, and this is, for a total installation, you should have a copy in your packet, but it was $42,000.
Do you think if we do it in the spring, it'll be about that? I mean, obviously.
I don't think it would be, much different. I do know there's a United Pool, or United Industries / Swim Time out of Kansas is where we bought this, the last one we bought. I tried to go online to look at what they had available, and they only had one heater listed, so, I would think that this is pretty compatible, because this was with installation. And that is, they're lifting it's gonna take a boom truck to get the old one out and the new one in, so they would lift it out and they would hook it all up, and that would be everything, so.
We'll wait till later, we could probably go ahead and bid it, maybe get some other companies looking.
Well, we possibly could bid it, or we could just maybe have the city just buy the heater itself and then hire Rasmussen's to install everything. I know we've asked the gas company to do a lot for us in the past, to come in and change things on it and whatnot, and no disrespect to the gas guys, but the boilers.
I've done it for 20 plus
well,
years.
but boilers are something different. I mean, it takes a special individual to handle them, and I don't know much about them, and I don't choose to, so.
Well, that's a big one down there, there's a lot of fire that comes out of it.
Yeah.
When you're working on them. So.
What's the warranty on something like that? You have any idea?
Well,
I promise I did read it.
I don't know if warranty was on there or not. I would like to think there was some warranty on it, but I apologize, I didn't. I read it last week. I could get that information too for the spring. You know.
Yeah, well, we
So-
can back in the
so-
spring, that's fine. I think you're right about waiting.
But when I put this on the agenda, the heater wasn't working, so, and now Tim was able to get it running, so and not that I wasn't sure it was gonna continue to run, but we've had major problems with it, so that's why I wanted to leave it on the agenda, so the council was aware of it.
So it's running now, but you said the boiler inspector may not approve it.
They not
or
approve
something.
it because like I said, because what had happened is the heat exchanger where the gas comes up, it would get hot and it would come up on the sides and melt all the.
It gets plugged, the heat in your gases have to find a path. And a lot of times if it gets plugged, it'll start going around the heat exchanger and.
Burn it out.
Yeah, burns it out, so.
And it's melted some of the wiring in there,
Yeah,
so.
you end up with a lot of heat places you don't want it, so.
But we'll know more next week too with the inspector, that
So if he comes out and says no, you're gonna shut it off right then and there, or how does
if
that
he
work?
tells us to, yeah, we will, cause it'd be an insurance thing, we have liability issues, so. We just hope for warm weather for the rest of the year for the pool kids.
Well, it doesn't look like there's any way of getting one here and getting it installed in time anyway, so. The season's getting pretty short, so.
And I would hate to have it for just a week or two and then go ahead and go right into winter,
Yeah.
you know, burn up warranty and burn up life.
So I'll bring it up again in, like I said, January, February, see what Rasmus would say and check with other places for the same type of heater, so.
Looks like there's quite a few people who use the pool.
It's been busy,
Weather helps.
yeah.
I think we'll always have a pool in this town.
I wanna comment about the staff down there too. There's nothing but positive the last couple of years. being well ran and
It's went real well. We do have Erin Jensen. She's been with us for 4 or 5 years now. Our assistant managers have switched throughout the years because they've been college kids and then they move on or they stay. But J.C. Pfeiffer was there last year and she's back this year. And then we have Jerron Anderson, and it's been, yeah, I have little to no complaints, which is really nice. And it seems like they understand the rules and regulations and it's worked out really well. So there is one positive about the pool.
it's been very well managed. And we'll pass that on.
So we'll be addressing this later on. Item 10, award bid for the new North Park restroom project.
We opened bid, this is Lance Harder with Oak Creek Engineering. We opened bids yesterday. We only had one bid and that was from Duncan Teese. The bid come in at $202,092. I believe it was in your packet, but the consultant's estimate was around $147,000, so it is quite a bit more. When we first started looking at this project, Lance's estimate, when we were talking concrete walls and insulation, you know, so we have minimal damage to this thing, was to be around $250,000 to $280,000. So when Lance got with the engineer that assisted designing this, that was come from them, that kind of, they helped give the consultant estimate $147,000. But in that $250,000 to $260,000, it was also included, that was our sewer line that needed to go in there, that was our water line that needed to go in there, and that was our gas line that needed to go in there. So there's numbers out there. I'm not just trying to throw at you, but there is no way I can justify why the bid was so high, but that's other items that we have bid separately, or we've taken care of separately. So, and we do have the water line in. The city got the water line in Friday, I believe it was, with Sam, and we're hooking it up yesterday. So the water line should be in.
City's going to directional board the electric line as time comes.
Yeah, we'll get that within a week probably.
Randy?
Tim, how many contractors took out packets?
We had 4 that got packets.
Were any of them local?
One moment, sir.
3 Kearney and 1 Lexington.
Just got the one bid in out of
The 4 that took out were Nielsen Contracting, Duncan Teese, RMB, all 3 of those out of Kearney, and then TL Sun out of Lax. Those are the 4 that got packets.
Why is Duncan Thesis bid so much higher than the engineer's estimate?
Not real sure. There was some comment on the exterior wall material. We want the sandwich panel to help insulate the structure since we're going to heat it. I did field some comment on availability of that and how that would drive the cost up a little bit. But I didn't think it would be 25% more. So
That's a lot of money over the estimate. Usually estimates are really close most of the time. They really are. Usually we come in under the estimate.
I think this is too much money, but did they say when they would do it?
the completion date is December 15th for the structure itself. They, to get the precast panels made, they would probably be looking at starting about before October, so probably looking at the very latest, I would say.
Think there'd be any luck in getting a better price and rebid it again?
I think if we want to talk about rebid, I think we need to discuss some alteration of the plan. Consider a different exterior wall setup. We may lose what we were hoping for intent-wise in the insulation value of the exterior wall for heating. But that was one comment about going with standard masonry, possibly even a split face block exterior.
But that's an uninsulated setup, unless we were to do something on the inside for insulation. But, that's similar to what you have now in North Park for restrooms, just a masonry block exterior, with the exception of the heat, so.
Would you go with wood roof again? Have you thought about metal roof for longevity?
I would say that the timber roof would be probably the preferred option here with the setup. We could bid an alternate though, that's certainly an option if they wanted to throw a number at it, at a metal roof.
Lance, those tip-up panels, are they concrete on the inside, and they're not lined with anything, just
Correct.
painted?
It's concrete on the outside,
Yeah.
with a sandwich interior,
Yeah.
and concrete on the inside.
Yeah.
That's
A lot like our new elementary.
likely the same thing.
Yeah.
And these restrooms will be open year-round, correct?
That was the intent, yes.
That'd be a nice plus.
I think it's important that we have at least one year-round restroom up there, and that is the right place to put it.
Well, the north one is, or excuse me, the north one is open year-round.
Oh, it is, I
By
didn't
the tennis
realize
courts,
that.
yes,
You
it
can tell
is.
how often I get out of the house.
Yeah, no, we have put electric heat in it so it could stay open, primarily because when the Game Parks Commission started stocking trout in November and December, we've kept it open so people can ice fish and they have a place to go.
Okay, so that one is year-round.
That one is year-round. The south one is not.
I think we maybe need to look at making a couple changes here. This is 25% above what we thought it was gonna be. That's a heck of a lot of money.
55,000.
I'd like to revisit. It's just
Yeah.
so much.
A lot of money for a bathroom.
It is, and it's not that we don't need one, we absolutely need one, but, you know, the pocketbooks are only so deep, we may have to look at compromise and have some stuff here to get the price down. That's my opinion.
Where are you talking about? I mean, it's gonna be insulated and everything, where do the guy cut?
Yeah, you start talking about paying more for utilities and infrastructure. We've talked about moving the completion date. That would probably be the first thing I would say. We're gonna have to change the completion date to maybe attract somebody else into the game. But I don't think moving the completion date is 25% cost savings. I would say there's gonna have to be some alteration to the structure to attract another bid. So.
I don't know, I think we start moving them dates around again, and then the public's gonna say, well, here we go again, they're not doing it, and it's not getting done. You know, time wasted. They need a restroom up there. I know that's a lot of money too, but they do need a restroom up there.
No matter what we do, people are gonna be mad. Either we spent too much money or we took too long to get it done.
I think those tip-up panels, you're gonna limit the number of people that wanna deal with that too. I mean, that's,
Possibly.
Yeah.
And I think the availability was partially the issue.
it's not something anyone local really wants to deal with. I mean, our contractors here, I'd love to see them have a shot at it, or wish they would have, but I don't think they wanna mess with those panels. But as far as insulating the building, that's the best way to go.
That's the best way.
Still have a structure that they can't destroy. Yeah.
That's a big issue with municipality structures, vandalism.
Cameras are cheap.
Yeah, I do want security on this restroom.
Me and Kim talked about that tonight too, putting cameras up there in the restrooms.
And the other thing, there's probably not a lot of different suppliers for those panels either, as far as getting a,
There is those.
you're kinda stuck with what you can get.
Yeah.
Well, we can get a building insulated without it being those tip-up panels.
Yeah, but then we gotta worry about the vandalism issue as far as people punching holes in walls and stuff
Tearing
like
stuff
that.
off the insides.
That's why we were kinda looking at this material.
I think we should probably just bite the bullet here and
I do too.
move ahead. I'm not comfortable with it, that overreach, but we also need to get a restroom up there.
And we've got the utilities being installed already, and
Yeah, that's right, we're ready to go.
that a recommendation?
Yes, I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
Larry Given, second.
Or Marvin.
Or Marvin? The other Larry.
They look alike.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry about that. Sorry about the insult.
Simpson.
Sorry, President.
Yes.
McDermott,
No.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Stanky,
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 11. Thank you, Lane.
Go ahead.
Bob and I opened bids for the sewer line for the North Park, for the new ball fields. We had 2 bids, and one of them was from, Van Kirk,
Sand and gravel.
Van Kirk Sand and Gravel, and then the other one was from Verba out of Skyler. Contractor's estimate, or I'm sorry, the consultant estimate was around 24,000, and the low bid come in at 20,000, and Verba's was 36,000. So I guess we would recommend that we take the low bid from Van Kirk's.
And Van Kirk's in town already.
Yes, they're in town.
That's a committee's recommendation.
It's Bob's.
Motion?
Motion, Bob.
I move to accept a little bit of Van Kirk's.
Doug Simpson moves.
Second.
Randy Aldrich.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Stanky,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Thank you. Ball field project is on board. It's now time for open discussion for staff and council members. Bob? Dane?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Chief, you're on.
The only thing I really have is our new Explorer should be on the road hopefully by early next week or maybe this weekend. Well, I guess it's probably sometime next week, it's time we'll have to put the cage for partition in the shotgun rifle. We'll find
Good. Thank you. Randy?
I just wanna see what the council thinks about, this bidding process we have. I'd like to see us receive these bids at on different dates, so they're included in our packet, either on a Friday or the midweek. So we have a chance to look at this information, it's not on the table when we come to the council meeting.
Okay.
We've talked about in the past, we never made that change, but
Well, that's not that big a deal, Randy. We just change the dates, add a week to it so we can get it in the packet. It's no big deal.
it'd be nice to look at this information.
I understand. It'd be nice to have it, make sure everybody has it.
Be able to ask questions.
Yes.
That's all I have, thank you.
Jeff?
No, sir.
Mr. Marvin?
It was a real nice dedication up there at the tennis court Saturday. Bob did a very good job in place of you. There was quite a bunch of people there. It was pretty emotional up there for quite a while with the dedication. So it was really nice.
Brought a lot of people to town.
Yes, it did.
I was up there Sunday morning. People really appreciated it. And I know last year, Ray loved those courts. Everybody from other towns loved the courts. It was a nice setup. When we get our shade up in, what, in a month and a half or so?
Well, I'm hoping we pour footings next week.
I'd love to have that up, but
Yeah. I think they said that Saturday they had 48 teams signed up for Saturday alone. And then they, our local surgeon, he supplied all the hamburgers and brats and everything
oh yeah?
for anybody to eat. So during the dedication, if you wanted to grab a hamburger or something, it was all free of charge. It was all donated. There was a lot of things donated.
Was there Diet Mountain Dew?
I don't know, I don't drink Mountain Dew.
If raised dedication, there's
I'm
gonna
sure
be a
there
Diet
was, I'm
Mountain
sure
Dew
somebody
there.
was drinking it.
Should've been full. Thanks for everybody making that happen.
Yes,
I think the community pulled something like that together.
well deserved,
They really deserve that.
yes.
Pretty awesome guy. Thank you. Yeah, Larry.
Nothing.
Mary.
It's fireworks time. People are irritated.
Well, some of them are.
Some of them are, and someone always will be. Consider your neighbors. Try to be a good neighbor. Respect the law. That's all. Just try to be a good neighbor. If you're a good neighbor, you don't really have to worry so much about the other parts.
But I love watching my 2-year-old great grandson. His eyes are big as silver dollars watching up there.
Yeah, I think we have yours tonight. Everyone be safe.
I was a kid a few years ago. Thank you. Doug.
Nope, don't have anything.
Rod.
I think I'll pass tonight.
What? Kim.
Nothing, sir.
Okay, you've got the floor.
I'm good. Thank you.
I don't have anything. Larry here talked about the dedication. I thought that was an awfully neat. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.